What's up, everyone? It is your host, Queen Bree and Robyn T. Welcome to Clean Greens Live, broadcasted on Rainier Avenue Radio. Hey, Robyn, how are you?
Hi, Queen Bree. Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us today on Clean Greens Living Live. We do want to take a moment to acknowledge that we are on the traditional land of the first people of Seattle, the Coast Salish people, past and present, and honor with gratitude the land itself. We also acknowledge what has happened on this land to impact the lives of the Black community in Seattle due to redlining and displacement, resulting in less opportunity to pass down generational wealth. To share your own story of home or land loss in the central area of Seattle, please contact us here at Clean Greens on behalf of the Black Dollar Days Task Force King County Reparations Project. We would love to hear from you. Also, our original theme music is created by Cuddy Fresh, aka Carrie Williams. And let's get this show started. We have an awesome guest.
Right, we have an awesome guest. I should have said, hey, Darius, because he's already on the screen. Sorry.
How y'all doing? How y'all doing today? Good. I'm glad to be on the show. Thank you for having me on the show. I appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you for taking the time. I know you are a busy, busy man, so we appreciate it. Darius is good. He is the host of an event that's coming up, Push Start, and he is launching his ministry. So he is here to talk to us about it. And I am so excited to hear about this, looking over your bio and then looking at you starting your ministry. And when we talk about, we've always been talking about following our dreams, following our purpose. So this is just like perfect on timing for you to be here. So thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me again. I appreciate it.
No problem. So you want to talk to us about, let's start with what is the event? Tell us about Push Start.
Well, first of all, I want to acknowledge for inviting me on the show. It's a pleasure. I am elated to even be a part of this. This is amazing what you guys are doing for the community. So yeah, hats off to you guys. So Push Start, it was given to me 2 years ago. I am a believer, so it was downloaded into me. When I say downloaded, that thought came into mind. So I started to work on it, and I didn't want to go forth in it without having any clarity or having any background work. You know, I wanted to make sure that everything was established the right way. So I like to move in wisdom. So Push Start, our mission is enhancing lives to walk by faith and be relentless while in pursuit of Jesus Christ. A lot of our faith has, sometimes our faith can go up and down, and some of us want to give up and don't know where to start or whatever. So this is what our Push Start ministry is going to be about. Our purpose is to build with confidence, abiding in truth, and led by light to fulfill the purposes of God. We all have a purpose. We all are put here for a reason. So Push Start, the push is me giving exhortation, encouraging, and it's going to be up to the individual to start based on the tools that I have given on Push Start. The vision is that the power of God would illuminate, would lighten up, would give the ideas, and cultivate the people to rise up and start. So just to rise in power and just to move forward. Push Start ministry, it was broken down in 2 categories. And like I said, push would just be me giving tools, encouraging, giving word, scripture, word of the day. And for start, it was broken down. For S is to seek. And once you start to seek God, you will succeed. Trust in him, you will thrive. Once you start to put all your trust in him, you will start to go up. And there's no way, once you start to go up, it's only the way up is up. No more going down or turning backwards. To analyze, and once he starts to analyze what's in you, those things that you have that need working on or things that need to be molded and shaped, you start to adjust. Restoration. And once you start to be restored, you have to resist those things that he has restored you from. And transformation. Once you are being transformed, once you have come into an alignment, you start to transition. You start to go forth. And yes, there's going to be some hurdles. There's going to be some obstacles. However, you got to continue to push forward. You got to continue to go, because if you don't, you will sink. So you have to continue to just fight. You always have a fight in you. So that's what Push Start is all about. And again, it's going to be launching April 4th, 2022 at 9:00 a.m. That will be every other Monday. So
you guys see my little, so you guys this is pre-recorded, you guys. So you guys are, Daniel is like the bomb diggity bomb. So this is just me being the little engineer in the background, but here is the flyer. And we will share it. We will share it if it's okay with you on our Clean Greens page. And I'm gonna share it on mine as well. Okay, listen, you have just inspired me just by what you just said. Because literally, like what you just said is what the mission, like I said, the mission we've been on. We're getting ready to have a mother and daughter women's conference. And I'm just starting my life journey as a coach. And in my mind, it was a coach, but I've come to realize it is a minister. And so I just got to get comfortable with saying that. Ministry. So yes, I'm going to be diving in and listening to you to inspire me. So thank you. I almost got a shout when you was talking. Man,
right? I got so excited too. I was writing down all these words and then they just kept getting better and better. Like I love how like what start means. And you were saying move in wisdom. You got these downloads. I know how it is when you're searching for your purpose and you go through hard times and then you come out on the other end and you just want to help people. So this is incredible. And you're keeping people inspired and in the work, you know. So you said it's every other Monday, and that is fantastic. And I'm so glad we're getting to hear about this. I'm super curious, like, what was it that on your journey that brought you to that moment where you got that word down?
So like I'm a man that have been through many, I've been through adversaries, I've been through stumbling blocks, I've been in the pit. So when I was going through those dark times in my life, God began to speak to me and let me know who I was. You know, sometimes people ask you who you are and you go to answering, oh, I work here and I have these many kids, or I have this car in the house. But no, God began to show me who I was as a person, an encourager, a minister, all those things. So as I came out of my dark pit, God began to let me know someone had to push me. Someone had to speak into my life. Someone had to plant those seeds in me in order for me to grow. And when he began to speak that to me, I'm like, you're right. He said, now I'm going to need for you to push. And as you push those individuals, they're going to have to start. Because a wise person told me the only way to begin to be happy in life or to accomplish anything that is set for you, you have to start. No matter what's in front of you, no matter what come up against you, no matter how big it looks, no matter how small it looks, no matter what it is, you just have to start. And once you begin to start, things start to unfold. So that's what Push Start came about. That's when he began to download it to me. We get these ideas and we want to be in a hurry to do things. However, you have to do the backdrop. You always want to make sure it's the right timing, and you want to make sure you have all your ideas set in place before starting anything. So that's what Push Start came about. Someone had to push me in order for me to start. So now I'm going to be pushing others in order for them to start. So
nice. Yeah. And let me tell you how I'm a believer too. And let me tell you how on point you are and how God is in this is because so when we talk about ministry and being Push Start and things aren't going to be easy. So with this ministry that I'm newfound too, when I finally said the words that I want to be a minister, and I screenshotted it too, because last Thursday we were talking about purpose as well. And I had to screenshot it so I know that I'm not crazy, because I wanted my first sermon to be about purpose. And I know that it is important to be talking about this right now because a lot of people are lost because they are unsure of their purpose and why they're here. And so I screenshotted the date that I started that sermon. One, so people know that this isn't me biting off of what you're saying, but to also show that this is the spirit and how it's moving in this world, in this time right now, how we really need to focus and hone in about the purpose. And I know that one of the things we talk about is obstacles. And one of the things that stopped me and held me back was my past. Like, oh my God, how can I get up here and minister to people? I mean, mind you, I've been doing it my whole life. not knowing it. Like anybody who sees me and knows that I want to be a minister now is just like, okay, yeah, I thought you've been knew that. Like they've seen it, they knew it.
Yes.
But because the enemy gets you in your past and they hold you there stuck. And so you take forever to get there. So I was reading your bio and I seen that you served some time. How did you work through that yourself to know that you, even though you spent time in jail, you were still worthy of this calling?
Yes. So I never once told myself I was going to be a minister. I never said I was going to be a pastor. I never said I was going to do anything in ministry. I thought I was going to be a lawyer or a basketball player. So as if I can share this with you, right before I went to prison, it was Bible study that night. I literally had Bible study that night, the moment I went to jail. And my bishop was speaking on, you can't do what you want to do when you're trying to serve God. And after that message, it was just on me. It was just stuck with me. And I went up to her and I'm like, I really needed to hear that. She went to praying for those that's going to be incarcerated and all of that, and all of those that are incarcerated. Well, right after Bible study, I went to my mom's house, and that's when this transition started. I went to prison, and as I was in there, I started to learn more about me. I mean, once you're in prison, you don't have nothing but time to think, So I was being developed then. I was being shaped. I was being formed, because what I realized when I was in there, I was a leader, and people looked up to me while I was in there. And I'm gonna tell you something. When you are in that type of predicament or in that type of state, you don't have to have your mind to be consumed to where you are. You can have your mind to be consumed to wherever you want to be. So my mind was never that I was in prison. I was always on the outs, So while my mind's been, I didn't let prison consume me. I didn't let it make me be. I didn't let them orchestrate me to who they wanted me to be. I always had my own mind. So as I was in there, that's what helped me get through it, and also to come into knowing that I am a minister, I am an encourager, I am a speaker, because I was a leader when I was in there. So it don't matter where you go. I don't care where you at, or I mean, even in the streets, if you're selling drugs or prostitute, whatever, you can have your calling there. You could be a leader on the street and doing that as well, But however, you have to go through those times, and then have to be clean, purged, and all of that in order for you to actually walk fully in it. So yeah, if that's answered your question.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And I'm sorry, Robyn, I didn't want to monopolize, but I'm like, look, I'm over here like, how help me? What's happening? Like, anyways, go ahead. Robyn, did you have anything that you wanted?
Exciting. No, I mean, it's amazing to hear that story. On a personal note, my daughter's dad also found his calling when he was incarcerated. He wasn't incarcerated that long. We're not together anymore. That's just a side note. But I got to hear a lot of that story, and it's amazing to hear when people are complaining about their circumstances, and there's many reasons. People are suffering everywhere, but when you can listen to your true self, that your connection with God, and I like to believe that you were saying you had a connection before you went in,
yes.
because you had to have a strong connection in order not to be like mentally beat down by your situation. Yes. And then so I'm curious to how well that was established, so you didn't get down while you were in there. And then I'm also curious to know who were some of those people who planted your seeds, because I know people be planting seeds for me in the most unexpected places. You know what I mean? Not always the person in the position that you think will be doing that. So I'm curious about those two things: your connection and who is teaching you.
So I want to say this. A lot of people say, "Oh, you don't went to prison, now you get out and you want to talk about God. You found God in prison." However, there are individuals that do find God in prison and stick with them, because now they have come into them. So to answer your question, my bishop that's in Florida, she was speaking it to me, and my uncle. He was speaking. I was in a really bad relationship. Well, I'm not gonna say really bad. It was good at first, but I was in a relationship where it was a lot of drugs and abuse and all of that. And as I started to come out, now that I look back on it, I see how everything started to position itself. As I got out of that, my uncle came to me and introduced me to the bishop. And there was a night where we was all gathering, having a family gathering, and I was supposed to went out with my cousins. And that didn't happen because my uncle wanted me to drive him home. And I'm thinking that me and him are about to go do something. I'm like, okay, yeah. But he ended up going to sleep. And the next morning we went to church. And when we went to church, that bishop, she came, I went to the altar because she called an altar call. And for those that don't know, an altar call, when they're speaking about life-changing events or whatever that you need to be poured in or to be, I went to the altar and she whispered in my ear, I was sent to save you. And the moment she whispered that in my ear, things began to happen. Doors began to open up. So go back to where we had the family gathering and I supposed to went out to the club. Who know what God saved me from that night? Because I ended up taking my uncle home and the next morning we ended up going to church, So everything just started to unfold. It's like, it's a process. Some people, they want change and they think it's a snap of the finger. Whoop, bloop, I'm changed. No, it's a process. And this is what some individuals don't pour into those people that are lost. They're not letting them know that there's a process. You have to continue to build yourself every day, die to your flesh every day. And once you stick to it, be consistent, relentless, and have that fight, you will start to see those doors open. And once you start to see those doors open, all you want to do is just continue to go. No matter what comes your way, all you want to do is go, go, go. So if that answers your question, that's how it happens. Yeah, God used my uncle, and my uncle, he used him to introduce me to the bishop. And that's how my process started. That's how it opened up for me.
Nice. I like how you said, you mentioned the fact that like when people think you got saved just because you went to prison, and let's talk about that. It doesn't matter just because someone got saved because they went to prison. Maybe that was their story that they needed to tell about themselves. And the fact that you went in, so maybe there was a reason why the seed started working before you went, so that when you went in there, you were ministering to other people. There's always different reasons why people are in there, because prisons need Jesus too. Prisons need to be heard. People in prison need to be heard too. And sometimes people want to hear from someone like them because it resonates more. It feels more real. And I love how you tell that story about how you went to church and the minister spoke to you. And then like, as you grow in your ministry, you start to see all those times God was showing you and saving you and sending these people in your life to save you. And I just think it's so cool that you are now turning that into a ministry to help others. And go ahead.
I wanna not to cut you off. I want to say this as well. Back to what you were saying about what I said about people finding God in prison. When they get out, you have individuals that want to talk about God for maybe the first month, and then that's it. And with my situation, I was getting that even from family. They didn't want to listen to me. Went to jail. Found God. But people sit and watch you to see how long are you going to do it. They're going to see, are you going to be consistent in what you're doing? And since I was consistent in what I was doing, and they can see that my life was starting to change as I was doing these videos and standing my word, I'm starting to change. Now they wanted to come on. Now they want to ask me questions of what did I do or what did I take, because I was consistent. So you do have individuals that go to prison, they find God, they may talk about it for a couple of weeks and then turn back to their own way. Not saying that they can't change and then come back to him, but I was consistent when I got out because I was serious about it. I just like what Robyn said, right before I went in, I had that backbone, I had that grounding stage. So it helped me to now. I'm gonna say this: when I was in prison, I wasn't just walking around with a Bible in my hand, act like I was just gonna saint because I got in trouble. I'm just gonna keep it real. If you're gonna keep it real, now I'm gonna keep it real. So I got in trouble. I did some things I wasn't supposed to do. However, it didn't negate the person that I was as being a leader when I was in there. I was learning from every mistake, because that's what it was about. It was about me sitting me down and coming into myself. And even when I was making mistakes, now I'm learning. So I just wanted to say that about those that get out of prison and go to talking about God. It's those that are going to be consistent with it, because I know other brothers that went to prison, found God, and they are consistent. They are powerful in ministry. And there are some that went, and just completely thrown God to the back burner. So yeah.
If you are just tuning in, you are tuning in to Clean Greens Living Live, broadcasted on Rainier Avenue Radio. It is your host, Queen Bree and Robyn T, and our special guest, Darius Thompson, here talking about his upcoming ministry that he is launching called Push Start, starting April 4th at 9 a.m. I am so excited about this event. Okay, so I have a few things to say to what you just said. One thing my mom always says to me is a prophet is not honored in his own home. And by what that means is sometimes people you know will always hold that in your mind, like they know you, so they're not going to listen to you, or they'll try to hold you to your past. And when we talk, and then I love how you mentioned, man, when I was in there, let me be real, I was getting in trouble. But this is the thing, people need to hear that. Because once you start your walk with Christ, once you start your ministry, and this is another reason why I was scared to even be a minister, I don't want anyone to put me on a pedestal, because we are humans and we are still learning, we are still going, and God is still speaking to us. And like you said, you have to deny the flesh. You have to deny the flesh a lot, which leads into when we talk about guys that come out of prison and are talking about God, and then they go back to their ways. And sometimes it's just because it is very hard. And I'm not trying to speak for them. I've never been in prison, but I can see that it is hard to deny your flesh when you go back and you're in the same situation or atmosphere that you were in. It takes a lot to get yourself out of that situation. There's a lot to talk about. I just don't want people to realize, I want people to understand that when people get out, they're up against a lot. Like when you get out and you have felonies and you have misdemeanors, all that on your record, then you got your family and friends talking about you ain't this and you ain't that. And then you got your friend, and then fast money, it seems quicker and better than going out here fighting the beat to try to get a job, and people constantly telling you that you aren't qualified because you went to prison. And I just want people to understand that sometimes that's why people can't be consistent, and not everybody always has a positive person in their background. And you are just speaking.
So you know when that, so I can say something to coincide with what you was just saying. So I like how the spirit is moving right now. So when I got out, like I said, when I was in prison, I got in trouble, and you're right. When you get out, you go back to that same environment. And I wanted to say this for those that are listening. When you are starting your walk with, it don't matter what it is that you're doing, He's going to judge you off of your heart. When you are relentless about seeking him, everything else is going to happen. Allow him to do what he's going to do, because it will fall off. Smoking, drinking, whatever it is, it will fall off, because you are relentless about being changed. You want to have him to reveal himself to you more and more every day. So continue being you. However, just be relentless about seeking him. And that's what I did. Because when I got out, I was also addicted to opiates before I went in, and when I got out. I got out and I was addicted again, and I went back to my same environment, Cocoa, Florida, where, like you said, a prophet is not going to be, I'm just going to say the word congratulated or celebrated, where they're from. Yeah. So I went back, and it seems like I was just going back into that dark pit, but I was also still in my word every day. I was still in my word. I was still in time. Relationship with God is everything. One-on-one with him is everything, because he started to reveal himself to you, and he started to reveal you to yourself. So it's not about just trying to find a church right now. Allow him to direct you to a church. Allow him to direct you to the minister or bishop. But in the meantime, relationship, building that ground with him is important. So I was building that ground. I was having a relationship with him. I was one-on-one with him, crying. It was many nights that I was just crying. And this last night I was crying. I was just like, Lord, I'm so sick and I'm tired. I'm tired. I am so tired. I am addicted to these opiates. I can't keep any money. Lord, help me. Like, I literally was on my knees, and he's my witness. Snot running out my nose. I'm just crying. I'm bawling. And the next morning I got on the bus, and I kept seeing these, I was going to work, and I kept seeing these signs, rehab. And I'm like, if this is what you're trying to tell me, I'm not going to rehab. I'm letting you know that right now. I'm not going to rehab. That's out the picture. So I rode the same bus whole week. Now, I've never rode this bus before. I have never seen this sign. For the whole week, I rode this bus and I kept seeing this sign. I'm not going there. I'm like, well, if you're going to change me, Lord, I'm just talking to him like this because I'm going to keep it real. I'm not going to sit there like, oh, thou out, Lord. No, I'm just going to keep it real with you guys. So I'm like, Lord, no. I mean, if you're going to change me, just give me that power, purge me out, get it up out of me. However, you got to take a step. And I took that step, stuff in rehab. And I didn't need the 30-day program. I just told that woman, I need 10 days. And she told me, well, I'm just going to tell you, people that do the 10 days, they end up coming back. I say, I'm going to let you know something. I know me. The only thing I need is 10 days, and I'm not coming back. And I haven't been back. So when I went in and I did those 10 days and I got out, I heard this message from TD Jakes right before, and how the Spirit just moved. And he spoke through that message to me. And it said, when you let go of the only, this suddenly would take place in your life. And I knew right then what he was talking about. The moment I let go of that only, which was the opiate addiction, suddenly started happening. Doors went down. I was over here in Seattle, Washington. Came from Cocoa, Florida, way on the other side of the world to Seattle, Washington, where I was able to be grounded. I can focus. I'm not around those same individuals that I was before. And I can be an example. They can see that Darius is really serious about his walk. He's really serious about change. And that's what had to happen. So you're right. When you are in that environment and you go to talk to friends and family about change, they're not going to believe you because they know who you are. They know your past. Oh, he talking about change. He talking about God. I don't want friends talking. He ain't going to change. However, I had to make sure I let go of whatever was hindering me and blocking me to receiving my purpose. Once I let that go, then everything else started to open up for me. So
nice. And when you're walking in your purpose, you will lose. God will organically, or sometimes if you are stubborn and ain't listening,
yes.
Hostile, I can't even think of the word other than hostile, move people out of your life.
Yes.
And when we talk about, we got to keep remembering about denying the flesh. And that is how he moves within us, is when we deny. Like it was funny because I have those same talks with God. God wants you to be real. He knows your heart. He don't want you coming here pretend. Like, even I have problems with prayer. Like, I'm like, Lord, I can't pray for 20 hours. I'm very straight and direct and to the point. And I'll be talking to him with respect. Like, he is my elder, my homeboy, somebody. Like, Lord, come on, because I need your help right now, because this ain't it. And that's what he wants. It's like he wants you to come to him as you are and take those steps. And it's not a quick turnaround. And that's why we have people like Darius out here, people like Robyn out here, people like myself out here, who are here to help guide you. And I'm not saying, look, Robyn, I'm not roping you in to anything that you don't want to do. I'm just saying, like,
this is my, I love talking about this. I'm in recovery. I love hearing the stories. This means so much to me because it is so important, this work. It saves people's lives, for real. It makes it so kids have parents and their parents aren't, dead on 3rd Avenue. You know what I mean? For real. And it's that important to come out here and tell these stories. And I hold it in the utmost, like, sacred space for me. And like what it made me think of in what we say in recovery is like, your higher power, God, will do for you what you can't do for yourself. And it's never it's never exactly what we want, because you didn't want to go to rehab. Like, I definitely didn't want to choose what I choose, but we get to have a life and keeping that faith. But one of my biggest takeaways today is something I've been really, really learning too, is these two words, consistency and relentless. That's the thing. Like, you're not going to want to do it every day. But guess what we did do every day? Opiates, drugs, whatever, drinking, acting like having a chaotic life. That was fine every day, right? Why would we not want to practice our faith every day, right? It's gotta be every day or several times a day. So just coming out here and explaining that to people, in the beautiful ways that any one of us can explain it through us is like the move. It's the thing to do. So I'm so inspired. This is my favorite thing to do on a Monday. And here's the thing is that you're gonna be doing this on a Monday, right? Yes.
And yes, because that was my thought. You have individuals that go to church on Sundays and that's it. Some people don't read their Bibles throughout the week. Some people don't go to Bible study on Wednesdays or Tuesday or whatever day. And they go get this charge on Sunday and they feeling, oh, good, the Lord spoke to me. And then wake up Monday feeling like how they were on last Thursday, down, you know? So that's what Push Start is. You're letting them know that there is hope. There is hope every day, but you got to be relentless and you got to be consistent. That's just like you building a house, right? You got to build a house on foundation. So if your foundation is going to be weak, your house is not going to stand. But you have to build a strong foundation. In order for that foundation to be strong, it's going to take steps to building that house. It's going to take steps, and that's it. And that's the same thing. Same thing with your walk. It's steps. It's a process. The foundation is God. He's your strength. So once you start to build on it, you just take the process. No matter what comes up. Like when you're building a house, it may rain, so you may have to stop from building a house, or something might happen. You may have to stop. However, you're going to come back to start building that house, right? Because you're relentless and you're going to be consistent about getting this house built. So that's how it is with your walk. You got to continue to be relentless. You got to continue to fight, build and build and build. And you're going to see change. You're going to see it within yourself first, because a lot of people, once they start to change, they want to try to do it from the outside, but it starts with you. He's going to start to do a work in you first. To have you to start bringing those things up out of you that needs to come out, that needs to be purged and wringed out before you can go outside and make change. Because that light is going to start within you first. And some of us don't want to sit with ourselves. Like this pandemic was designed for us to sit with ourselves, to find out who we really were. Because before then, we were just running, moving, doing everything that we can, and not just sitting down to regroup, to get our mind to come in line with our mind, body, and spirit. Because some of our spirit was here, our mind was here, and then I was somewhere else. We were just all out of line, So yeah, there is hope. There is hope. You just have to be, like you said, relentless and consistent. And when you continue to go forth and fight through the hard sweat, tears, whatever, you're going to see it. You are going to see it, but you got to believe it as well. It's one thing to believe, but it's another thing to know. So once you believe, know it's going to happen.
Yeah. Nice. Okay. Well, you didn't say the word to me, because our show was like, look, I'm going to keep remembering to start over, like you said, as much as you can every day. And it's a process. Yes, oh my gosh. Look, both of you guys are inspiring me, because can we take a moment to divert to Robyn's background on her wall, where her motivational, what do we call it? Vision board is up there. And sometimes you got to create that vision in order to remind yourself to continue to thrive, continue to move on, continue to move in your purpose. What you're doing is so on time for what is going on in this world. And it's so, like you said, God speaks, and it's so in line with everything that we do and what we've been talking about. And I know that we talked a lot about your ministry and where you've been. Tell us what you've been up to these days.
So I am in social services. I am a shelter family advocate day lead. So I am engaging with clients all day. I'm helping with housing. I'm counseling all day. That's what I like to do. I like to help people. I really have a passion of helping people, because I know where I was at. I was at the bottom at one point. So when you come up, you're supposed to bring those that are down up with you. It's just not for you. What's poured into you, it's just not for you. It's for other people as well. So when you start to hold those things just for you, it's going to hinder you. You're going to be stuck. You're not going to move forward because you're not pushing it out. So what you get, you have to put out, So I'm also the president of this organization called CAB. It is the Community Advisory Board. And we are helping with teenagers that has been in the justice system, that are coming out in the justice system, to help them to get back into society, to help steer them on straight street, if that makes sense. I'm also a minister in training at my church, Greater Destiny Church of God in Christ in Tacoma. Pastor C. Ivan Johnson, that's my pastor. I am a minister there. I'm a servant. I love to serve. Serving will keep you in the most humble state. It will keep you in walking in humility. Because when you walk in humility and when you're staying humble, even when things even trying to come up against you to take you out of it, but when you are humble and when you are walking in humility, doors will always stay open. Good things will always come your way, even when the bad trying to come. good will always present itself. So that's what's been going on, I'm also starting this book, and it's called Becoming Me. So that's just a little bit of it right now. Just the title is Becoming Me, and it's just going to be about how I came into my purpose and how I became who I am. In spite of everything that I've been through, I still have purpose. Good. What the enemy meant for bad, God meant it for good. So that's what Becoming Me is going to be about. So yeah, that's what I've been up these days.
Exciting.
Walking
Okay.
in my purpose.
Okay, as we're rounding it out, where can people follow you in your ministry? Me too, because I'm like, man, you done motivated me. I've been sitting on this sermon, sitting on my Brie living, and now I'm gonna push start. Okay.
Yes.
I
Yes.
pushed start before, but I'm gonna push it again and again until I get it right. Okay.
That's
So
the key.
where
That's
can
the
we
key.
follow you?
Well, right now I haven't did my Push Start Ministry page, but you can follow me at Darius Laferio on Facebook. I also have Gmail for Push Start, which is pushstartministry@gmail.com. If you want to reach out for prayer or encouraging word, whatever the case is, you can reach out to me on there. Again, it's pushstartministries@gmail.com. And you can look me up on Facebook, Darius Laferio, and Laferio is spelled Laferio.